New York, New York, New York, New York.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Unique New York. Unique New York.
New Yeek. Oh, I can't even say it. Anyways, welcome back, you lovely people, to another crazy episode of our Slightly Average Guys podcast. We really appreciate you guys joining here. Really appreciate all the comments and feedbacks. If you can leave any, we definitely want to progress through this thing and give you guys the quality that you guys deserve. So, welcome back. Let's see what kind of topics we have on board. Ryan?
All right. But first, before we jump into our first topic, kind of want to point out that we are totally leaving that wackiness that just happened in the beginning of this intro. And we'll be doing that more often because that is hilarious.
It was
as
good.
well
It
as
was quality.
some sidebar little notes. I think we might, we were just chatting it up. We always do a little bit of pre-show just together. I think we might start publishing a little bit of that. There's just some outtakes or just some funny moments. So be on the lookout for that in the feeds for everybody's podcast things.
Some of it's real good.
Yeah, it's some funny stuff. So we'll be sharing it with y'all. And let's jump into the first one. So I've been a what I would consider a cord killer or a cord cutter for, oh my gosh, over 10 years now where I've actually not had cable. I've only been an internet subscriber. I've always tried to get most of my TV through, old school way was, more over the air and types of things. Now you can get any about streaming service you want, over the top stuff, which is really nice and easy for everybody. But I was kind of wondering, I've used Sling in the past. I've used YouTube TV in the past. I have a smaller one that's called Philo, messing around with that one. Just wondering if you guys have cut the cord, what services you're potentially using. Andy, why don't you go first here?
Yeah. So real quick, my evolution of getting to where I'm at, DirecTV forever because of the Sunday Ticket, right? So we can watch all the football games. So probably like 2 years ago, I decided I'm tired of spending like $180 or more a month. So I started with PlayStation. PlayStation had a streaming service. I don't even think it exists anymore, honestly.
Nope, they closed it down at the end of last year. PlayStation
I just
Vue,
realized that.
RIP,
That's
PlayStation Vue.
Yeah,
I
it
enjoyed
wasn't
it.
bad. It really wasn't. My only complaint was when you're so used to the DirecTV interface, nothing is the same. So the guide and navigation. So then I went to DirecTV Now, and that cut some costs. So it was the same experience, just all on demand. And it was okay, but I just decided, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go without. So we went without. We went Netflix, Hulu, but no cable, right? So we just did streaming services.
Absolutely.
And then
It's
finally,
2020, right?
yeah. As soon as sports came back around, I thought I probably need live TV. So I was hesitant to go back to either DirecTV, but then I decided I'm going to give YouTube TV a shot, and it's been the best thing since I've done that. Part of it is just because of the customization that I can do with it, and the add-ons, and just when you're scrolling through the guide, just because it's YouTube, I have the ability to actually see part of the show as the thumbnail, and I love that.
Oh,
and then the
that's
free unlimited DVR space is just nuts. And again, because it's YouTube, it knows what I want. So
I have YouTube. I have a question for you, but first I'm going to phrase it as perfect timing, because I literally just got a free subscription, a 14-day trial for YouTube TV. Going to try it out. So one, I kind of got YouTube TV because I wanted to start watching more football. I wanted to start watching and paying attention to a little bit more of fantasy, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Yeah.
So I literally just popped in one football game, the first one from my free subscription, and I was actually starting to notice. Actually, scratch that. Oh my gosh, I'm being an idiot right now.
Wow.
Okay, sorry about that. So, YouTube TV. I have a question, and I'll just bring that up right now.
Okay.
I'm going to scratch my other topic until later.
Okay.
YouTube TV. How does sharing work within that? I have Google Music, which is now YouTube Music. I pay for the $15 a month so I can share it with Corey. I can share it with mom and dad. I can share it with, I think I have slots for two or three other people. So how does sharing work within YouTube TV? Because potentially I could share it with my mom and dad who live in a different household, and maybe we can just split it, pay half. How's that work? Is
Yeah,
that possible?
so they actually have a shared, like a family share, and you can add 5 people to what you have for no cost.
I just did.
So is it? My question would be for you, Andy, since you've have it. Maybe you haven't run across this situation. Is can you have simultaneous streams from different locations? Because like Hulu allows you like 4 streams or something like that, but they all have to be from the same IP address. The moment that you try to access it from outside, it doesn't allow you to.
Yeah, so I'm not going to pretend like I know this, so I looked it up as we were chatting about it, but you can create a group, right? And then you can invite people to it, and family group members can use YouTube TV on up to 3 separate devices at the same time. If one member is watching on both a computer and a mobile device, it counts as 2 of the 3. So if you have 3 people that you invite, everybody could be watching something on their own.
Okay. So the other interesting fact then would be if you can watch it on Roku or Apple TV devices at the same time from 2 different locations, because that's the only thing. It's like that's the biggest, wacky thing I think to being a cord cutter, and now into the streaming is the weird rights of they really love, it's you can watch what you want when you want on any device you want is kind of true. We can all, watch them on our mobile devices, our tablets, our PCs, really, really easy. But for some reason, there's still this battle on, but if you hook it to a big screen, oh, no, we can't do that. That's no. Only one person can do that at a time, which makes weird sense on why when it's a big screen, all of a sudden Mr. Monocle pops in and,
And I'm really excited too, because I just got the Google TV and it's going to be I've heard great things about it. I heard it's very adjustable, customizable. You can still Chromecast to it. So it's a Chromecast / Roku essentially in one. It has a remote now, so I don't have to do everything through my phone and stream it. My accounts have previously not been set up with my Google Mini, right? Just like the thing you plug into a wall and it's like a speaker. So now I can connect to that and be like, yo, G. I'm not going to say it because it's going to turn on, right? It's going to literally turn on and be like, how can I help you? No. So, hey, G.
Plus everybody watching.
Play Netflix, play Hulu, play whatever I want, play this sport or whatever. So I think it's going to be extremely cool. I'm excited.
Yeah,
do you have any other comments or anything about YouTube TV? Like, should I subscribe and go further than the free 14-day trial?
100%. So part of the reason I went this route was because of why I also have Google Home versus Alexa. And it's just the technology behind it. And you'll be amazed at the little things that make a big difference, where you can go into your channel lineup and you can arrange them however you want. So when you're in your guide and you're navigating, you can see those channels in that order. You can take them out. You can have what you want. You can add all the premiums you need. And it just makes it so efficient. But
I'm really glad we're recording this, because did you just hear that, Ryan? He said he went with Google and not Apple.
Yeah,
well, I mean, got that on record. Andy,
no,
your
Apple doesn't have it, so it's okay. Listen, I'm all for Apple and on personal devices, but they don't have anything like this. And the Apple television component inside of Apple TV, they have some great content, but it's just not the same, right? It's not live. It's not a traditional experience like you're used to or you're looking for.
Yeah, so that's you're comparing. That is comparable to a Netflix. That's Netflix again isn't live. Hulu is the only thing that kind of bridges both gaps, because Hulu has originals plus Hulu is live TV and different channels that are a bunch of independent ones. Yep. But it's actually interesting to hear both of you guys kind of talk about it, because I have looked at YouTube TV, and I think December of last year was probably the last time that I had played around with it, and I literally just hated the interface on it. It was a little clunky, and granted, I'll be the first to say it also depends upon what device you're using it on, because like your tablet versus your phone versus a Chromecast versus a Roku, all of the experiences were drastically different. And some of them were perfect. Some of them worked really, really well. Like if I used it through my PlayStation, it seemed to like, oh, okay, this is all the functionality I want. But everything that we do here at my house is all through Roku's just because it's easy. I got one little small remote. Everybody that comes over knows exactly how to use it. You don't have to train somebody on.
And that'll be soon for me as well because I'll have the Google TV. But from the one time that I had Chromecasted it to my TV, it seemed like it was working pretty well. But again, that's one out of future, hundreds of times.
And one of the coolest things that I really enjoy, even though it's live, right? If I left the house and I was watching footballs on tonight, if I was watching, let's not use football. If I was watching a movie that was on regular cable or regular network, and I leave and I'm at a certain point and I fire it up on my phone, I can just restart right back where I was at. I don't have to pick up where it was or where I missed. It just, here's where I was, and I can just pick back up. In fact, in the interface, you have a library. There's 3 categories. And then if I watch something, no matter where I end off at it, it'll hold it there until I come back to it. So I can just pick back right into it. Netflix does that, right? But it's really great because even if I go into another room, all right, I'm done watching TV in here and I just pick it right back up where I'm at. So that's
you don't got to search for it. Yeah, that's nice. Like, well, so let me before whatever you're about to say, like, what do you guys? I know Ryan's in a 14-day free trial. Andy, what's your cost on that? Because I know they just raised costs, recently, a couple months back here.
Yeah. So I have. That's a great question.
$80 range or something like that.
Yeah, I'm at.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's got add-ons.
Gotcha.
I have one add-on for sports, but I'm pretty sure I'm at $80. Let me check. I can check.
Now,
but sure okay, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. So one of the things I was going to mention, just because you guys have tailored to your I know cord killing isn't really the topic that we're on here, but it's just the streaming services that we can use. But so everybody knows, like, if you aren't a sports buff that's out there, one of the things that you can actually look into is a system that I use, which is called Philo, and it's basically Phil-O is how you type it out. It's Philo TV, and it is almost every single channel minus local, so you don't get ABC, CBS, NBC, and you don't get any sports. Okay, so if you don't care about those two, or if you only cared about the local channels, you can get an antenna. But like, I pay like $20 a month, and I get the Food Network, Discovery channels, all the MTV networks, which are all Viacom networks, which are Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and everything else for $20.
Yeah, for sure. But let me ask you, Ryan, if what Andy's saying is true, and we can share accounts to your place, my parents' place, and my place here, then we split that. At $64 is what the base is for YouTube TV. You're right back at your 20.
Yep. Yeah. And
that's a great idea.
My small fine print is technically I'm an old grandfathered member of Philo, so I'm paying like $15 a month. But everybody else, if you're jumping in and just want to check them out, the current price is $20.
So I pay $75.98, and I have one add-on, and it's the sports at $11. So if I take that out, I'll be at $64.99 plus tax.
Yep,
and
that's cool.
It's so worth it. Then, like I said, you can add. They have Stars, Showtime, Cinemax. Right now, Cinemax has a 7-day trial.
We don't use any of that stuff though. Like, Ryan, I don't think you use it. I don't use it. I know my parents don't use that stuff, so I don't think we would need any of those, right?
Yeah, like I'll be honest. Like, since starting this podcast stuff, doing other things on the side from my normal day job, so normal day job, video, podcast, audio stuff, and then some other just regular consulting work on site. I have watched so little TV in the last 3 months.
You're not watching your Gold Rush?
Dude, I like it. It's not on right now. But I used to love The Deadliest Catch. That's been on. I haven't I think I watched 6 episodes of that of 18 episode season. So and even when it's on, and the few episodes I've watched, I've fast forwarded so much through everything. I think I'm only watching 10 minutes of it. Yeah. So literally as a reference back to other episodes of this podcast, I'm literally in this room for 13 or 14 hours a day.
Hey, so if we're going to reference back to our other channels real quick, I just want to point out this t-shirt that Ryan had got me from St. Lucia, right? Remember these t-shirts? Ryan goes on all these trips with my sister, his wife, and they get me t-shirts wherever they go. So St. Lucia, let's point to the back. You're not gonna be able to see it, but it's a
Chill
turtle.
seeker.
It's a chill seeker turtle sitting on a beach chair. Probably just
drinking a
drinking
martini.
beer. Martini.
martini.
It's great. But I have one more question, or
Okay.
maybe basically just comment. I guess I watched my first channel on YouTube TV, and it was a football game, right? So again, mostly all this is because I want to watch more football. I have fantasy. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But as the commercials were coming up, some political, I've never really watched a whole lot of commercials, right? I'm probably not the best person to talk to about what kind of commercials you've seen, because I'm A, either video gaming, or B, just watching Netflix. But I was noticing all of these car commercials, a ton of them. Car commercial after car commercial, Toyota, Dodge, GM, you name them. They all have commercials. I was looking at something on my phone, and Tesla happened to pop up on my phone, right? Oh, like just a car picture or something. Have you guys ever seen a Tesla car commercial?
Mm-mm.
Not on a normal TV. Like I've seen,
That's
and, not even an advertisement. I've just seen videos like from YouTube and things like that. It's mostly, I'd say, more grassroots marketing than anything else, which is pretty smart, in this day and age.
But
Yeah.
this to me, I saw this and I kind of noticed it in the one actual show that I watched, right? That had commercials. You're seeing all these leading manufacturers here in the United States and overseas. You're seeing Toyota, Dodge, Ford, Chevy. I could keep probably going, right? But we're not trying to play a game here of who can name the most manufacturers. We could, I guess. But anyways, you have Tesla, who is also a leader in the car manufacturer industry, in the car industry. They are the developers, and I said a better word for it earlier, but they are the game changers in the car industry. And I think it's absolutely amazing that they have minimal to no commercials at all for their cars.
Well, I mean, it's kind of part of Elon Musk's shtick, is he always bucks the normal, traditions
Absolutely.
of anything, because he's always trying to think outside of the box. That's why everybody said, no, you can't build electric cars and make any money. There's no way. Yeah, he knew he wasn't going to make money for a while. Hey, guess what? We're beyond that point now, and that's why the value of the company is through the roof, and up there amongst some of the most expensive ones or most valuable companies ever.
Yeah, he thought Tesla and SpaceX were going to be bankrupt.
Both of them were right at the level. He took all of his money from PayPal, and because he created that and sold it, and half the money went to one, half the money went to the other, and he figured one of them would flop. Well, guess what? Both of them are succeeding massively, which is great. But that's also because of the way. Back to the point, the way that he thinks, right? What is he gonna do? Take $40 to $100 million and invest it in regular traditional over-the-air TV, and which, quote unquote, for those audio listeners, I'm doing the quotes, can see 30 million people watch this show on a 14-day window. I call BS on the ratings of things. The reason why I call BS on the ratings of things is because now that we start to have digital TVs and YouTube and everything else where it actually tells you the view count, it's nowhere near that. Now, I know there's a ton more media that you can actually watch, but that's why I think he's smart with, hey, I'm not going to reach as many people. Plus, outside of live TV for sports or something that's literally up to date just because I don't have something else to watch, like I don't watch commercials. Like me and my wife love Survivor, right? So we're always diehard Survivor. We know that, hey, if I wait 22 minutes after it started, I can then start. I'm still getting the
Ryan's got it dialed in, baby.
Everybody else, but like every time I'm fast forwarding through a commercial, and boom, I'm ending at the same time everybody else is ending, and I didn't have to watch a single.
I'm saying 22 minutes, baby. 21 and 30 seconds is not enough time. 22 minutes.
So, total sidebar on that. When you record something on YouTube, it gives you two options to watch your playback. Video on demand or regular recording. Video on demand, you can scroll right through, or sometimes it won't even include the commercials and it just rolls right through them. The regular recording, if it's on your network, it'll play all of it and you can fast forward through it. So I love that.
Okay. So that's also good to know. But
Yeah.
do you? I mean, I would think it's amazing, right? One, you're selling cars online. You're not having dealerships. You're not having to pay because Tesla kind of does everything solo. You can't
Yeah.
just go to a Chapman, right? Ford dealership, Chapman dealership, and buy a Tesla. You can't do that. So
that's
one, you're
also
not paying
how he's
money
able
to them.
make the cars lower costs for the entry level ones,
Yeah.
right?
Two, you're not paying for the commercials.
Yep.
It's literally you're paying for a mall, a mall warehouse or a mall shop, I guess, which is call it a 30 by 30 area, right? 40 by 40 area, which has a couple cars in it. And you buy this stuff online. That overhead has to be extremely low besides the actual manufacturing plants, which I think is amazing. I love
and
that.
you think about too how he rolled out the truck, right? So the truck came out the Super Bowl or beginning of the year or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was $100 refundable deposit.
Mhm.
So they had, let's say 1 million people pre-ordered that thing because it's $100 and I can get it back. Well, guess what? Now he's got money to go build it. So rather than come out of pocket and do the traditional, again, a traditional way of doing things.
Launching a car.
Yeah. Now he's got all this money to go and build the vehicle that is insanely cool. And if you don't want it, you get your $100 back. So he's not out a ton of money.
And because of how he did it, he got free press because everybody was like, "Oh, what? You can pre-order the thing for only $100." Guess what? He just got millions of dollars of advertisement without having to spend $1.
And I can do it right through my phone, which was the coolest thing.
So
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, so always making sure that you're thinking outside that box, and even with everything, that's why the people that jumped into podcasting 5 years ago were at that mark where everybody said they were crazy as well, and they're the ones that are leading each category that's out there now. Look how big Joe Rogan's show is now. I know that's a celebrity to start with, but
yeah,
I digressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just kind of crazy to think because all of that evolved from basically YouTube TV. And I know you had transitioned into YouTube TV for your own personal reasons.
Yeah.
Mine was very basic. I have not done a fantasy football league in 8+ years, probably. Right? I mean, I've done it back in college. College was 6 years ago when I graduated in December, so pushing 6 years ago. And I don't even think I did it my senior year or junior year. It might have been like sophomore. So like 7-8 years ago. One of my buddies texted me and he was like, "Yo, you want to jump into fantasy? $100." I'm like, you know what? I need to do this. I need to be more involved with football because it's always a conversation, especially when you're hanging out with the guys. And I know football. I know how it works. I know the penalties. I know I know the plays, but I just have never watched because I got disinterested. So I jumped into this fantasy league, and the whole purpose of me doing that was to get me back into watching football. And I thought, well, geez, I need a streaming service now so I can actually watch it because I'm not going to bars. I'm not going to bars anymore. I've been to one bar to watch a Thursday night game. I'm not going over to any friend's house to watch it either, right? They're not having massive groups or Sunday night football parties. So I was like, I need to stream it. That's my only other option, unless I get it for free somewhere. But that's the bad way to go about it.
Yeah,
so
anyways, and I think I know you led into that from just the streaming services, and it's kind of how we got here. But let's talk a little bit about fantasy football and the uniqueness of not how it works. And I mean, you can watch podcasts that are dedicated to that, and those types of things. But let's talk about the benefits of fantasy. There's a lot of people that are out there that are like, oh, no, it's dumb, it's a stupid game. I'm a person that's not a big sports buff. I was never an athlete. I was the weird, crazy band kid in high school and everything. So not a big sports guy.
Do you have band camp stories too?
Yes, actually I do. But that's a whole different moment.
Please don't bring up the trumpets.
Yeah. Slightly Average Guys After Dark.
Oh God.
So yeah, that's a rabbit hole. Let's not talk about right this second. But more of a geek, when geeks weren't cool. So I've always watched, I used to watch basketball a whole bunch because originally from Indiana, basketball's huge in Indiana. So, all the way up, I would say probably to the my junior year in high school, I was watching a decent amount of basketball, and then just, I don't know, kind of got bored with it and never watched it again. And then I moved out here in 2003 and watched a whole bunch of football. Got into football really big. I'm not a college football guy. I'm a NFL. But I really just watch my own teams. You know, I'd watch the Colts because I'm from Indiana. I'd watch the Cardinals because I'm here now. So I feel like I need to root for the home team that's there, you know, and a few other ones. But like, that's like the only games I would ever tune into. Like, I wouldn't, you know, seek out. There's people that watch all of them. So I have the opposite of getting into things as Ryan. You know, you just got into it this year. About 8 years ago, my work just started. We had a friend at work that just was like, "Hey, yo, I do this with my friends. I need an extra player over there." And then that turned into yes. And then next year it was like, okay, the whole office started doing it. And next year it got bigger and bigger. And
Andy, were you involved in those?
Yeah. The last couple of years we've done them at the office. Yep.
Yeah.
So it evolved from not fantasy football in a traditional sense. It got to that, but it was like we did a pick league where each week you submitted your picks and then you had total point. Like we progressed into a full-on office football, fantasy football.
Which I think is a good point. I'm glad you brought it up because the fact is I wouldn't have probably jumped in if somebody was just like, yeah, fantasy football, we're going to totally do that. I probably would have been real leery because I'd have absolutely no clue. But because we did pick'em leagues for like, I think 2 years there, just you're gonna guess which team's gonna win and everything else. Like that was fun. We got more people involved than what wouldn't have been.
It's easier, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, but it literally thrust me into, hey, I'm gonna watch every single week. I'm definitely you know looking at these games, and that was just with the pick'em. And then the fantasy piece is you truly do get invested in all of the games with all of these players that you literally wouldn't have given two shits about.
Yeah,
you know,
that's why I'm so excited.
Yeah, like it made it so much fun. And what's odd is this year, because A, I'm working from home, B, I'm working for a different company. Like I didn't end up being in any of the ones that were out there. Plus our old work, the one place that we always work side by side with us, our sister company, they didn't do it this year, which is funny because they're an athletic company. But they didn't do it. So like didn't get into it. And like I think I've watched 2 games and not total. I'm pretty sure altogether I've watched 2 quarters, which is kind of depressing to me. You know, for somebody that's not a sports guy, that's saying something.
Well, and something you could do very easily too is, you know, one, we could all 3 do it, right? We could get my parents involved and just kind of some, you know, direct contacts that we're constantly talking with, and that'd be a super easy way to kind of get back into fantasy. And I'm just trying it, right? That's all I'm really doing. If I don't like it, I went 0 for 3, okay, for the first part of it. It was not looking good. And basically it was like,
it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
That is true. So I just got a dub last weekend. Hopefully I can pull out another one this weekend. But at first I'm 0 for 3, right? If you lose, I just want to preference this. You don't just lose, you're not just out $100. You have to run a 5K in a costume of the winner's choice.
That's awesome.
Hey, that's
not bad.
I mean, a 5K sounds horrible to me, but hang on. One of our buddies that we used to work with that ran our league, it was always the commissioners for everything. His piece was whoever lost had to wear this locket. Okay. And it was a necklace with a whole bunch of lockets on it. If you opened up any of the lockets, it was a picture of all of the guys that played in the league, each one of their nuts.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And if you were out in public, if you got
just
caught,
keep them closed.
Well, if you got but if you were in public and you didn't have it on, you weren't wearing it. I don't know if you had to wear it. I think you just had to have it on you. Then you had to like chug a Smirnoff Ice or something like that.
If you didn't want to show them a picture.
No, it's if you just didn't have it on you, like you had to always.
Gotcha.
They did some weird stuff. So this last year, what they did is whoever lost had to take the SAT test after a night of drinking, like binge drinking, and you had to get a certain score.
Isn't that a paid test?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. For adults, yes.
That's great. So, I mean, I don't care. I'll run a 5K. Like, I'll do a solid 10-minute mile. Super easy, right? Chill. Could I run faster? Absolutely. Do I want to? Absolutely not. And my only thing is, because I was 0-3, right? Don't make me wear any type of girlish shit. Just don't make me do that. I'll wear anything else you want. I don't want to wear a dress. I don't want to wear a bra and some spandex. I don't, I just want to
You
wear
just want to wear just
a
bra.
dinosaur
You just
suit
don't
or
want
something.
spandex. Okay.
I want to wear a clown suit. I don't really care. I'll wear a green suit. I don't want to run in just a Speedo because that'd be some bad chafing. But
Oh man, Chafe City.
but yeah, so I get into this league and I'm just like, oh, play fantasy football. They said it'll be fun. They said, and I'm just sitting here like, you guys suck. It was terrible.
Okay. Hang on, like
I'm coming back though.
However, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna tee you up so you know what I'm gonna ask you here after I make a statement. I'm gonna go into how did you go about picking your people? Like, what was your strategy? But what I'm gonna first point out is, I think of all the years I played fantasy, whether it was in Pick'em and then we jumped into actually doing it with people, I think I only lost 1 year. Like I was always second or first. I know this last year I was first. I won like $800, and I am not. Still again don't really understand every exact piece that's gone on. I understand the score, but I just meant how we played in a weird league. What do we, Andy? Was it like PBR, points per reception?
Yeah, it's called PPR. Points per reception.
Yeah. So there was a lot of different nuances, different types of games and things like that. So on how people got points, and there's so many different strategies to, how to pick players and okay, everybody thinks, oh yeah, I'm going to go get great quarterbacks. It's like in that type of league, the quarterbacks is not number one. So we always had this one guy that literally always took like 2 or 3 quarterbacks. And it was like, what are you doing?
What an idiot.
Yeah. So, but what was your strategy going in? And by the way, I was always like 4-0. I was like won the first 4 games and then shit the bed, but barely made it into like the playoffs, and then like freaking like awesome the playoffs.
Yeah, and so I'll kind of combat that as, and one, again, it's been an extremely long time since I've done any type of fantasy football. I didn't know there was an auto draft button. I was freaking out. I was like, Dad, you want to help? You want to help me draft? You want to come over, drink some beers? So my buddy Nathan actually came over, and he helped me draft. We were sitting there drinking beers, looking at my dual monitors, just chilling. I was number 8 or 9, I think 9, and we did a snake draft. Right? So as soon as the 10th guy went, I was right back up. So it was very quick. But he basically picked all of them except I picked the defense of Indianapolis because he was like, oh, you got something to choose from. I was like, oh, I like Indiana because that's where I'm from. So really, that's about it. He was the one who kind of picked him for me. So, and here's the funny part too. I was previously 0-3. I'm now 1-3. And, I don't really know too many people in our actual league. So we have 10 people in our league. I maybe know like 3 or 4, but one of them is really a friend, and the other ones are kind of more acquaintances. So I'm only texting Nathan because he's a really good friend of mine. I'm texting Nathan. Nathan, I just lost. Oh, crap. Down again. Lost. Nathan, crap. Down again. Lost. 0-3. He's like, dude, I'm starting to feel bad because I literally picked your team. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you because I literally am like, again, join a fantasy league, they said. It'll be fun, they said. And I'm sitting here just shit in the bed like Ryan said.
All right, Andy, what was your strategy?
Well, so I've been doing this for a long time, and I love it. In fact, I got to the point where I was doing like 4 or 5 at a time, and I would spend anywhere from like $50 to $100 per one.
Mm-hmm.
And it works out really well when you win, right? But when you don't, then you're just like, ugh, it's so much time. So I'd invest in all this software. I had this drafting tool. Like I had everything, right? Because I was all in.
All right.
Yeah. And I got to the point where if I did 3 or more leagues, my team had to be the same because then it was easier for me to manage, right?
Absolutely.
I knew what I was doing. So anything less than 3 leagues, it was just whatever. And I always tried to be like progressive in what I wanted to do, right? So one time I had the first pick and I tried to trade it out. Nobody ever wanted to trade it. Like I always tried to do odd things or just think outside the box, and nobody really wanted to participate in any of that.
Sell work gift cards in order to trade players.
Oh yeah, so
no way.
Yeah, so I'll come back to that.
Oh God.
So circling back to the whole TV service, When I first started DirecTV with Sunday Ticket, you could actually plug in your players. And when
No
they
way.
when they scored or had something, it'll flash at the bottom of the screen.
No way.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
legit.
why I was like, I have to have this. This is the coolest shit ever.
That's like a 2022 mentality.
Dude, it was. So with YouTube, you don't get that, but it doesn't matter because you've got so much other
You got
technology.
your phone, yeah.
So I'm all in on fantasy football, and I've always tried to be a little bit more outside of the box with it. But I just got to the point where it was like, I have to quit because it just would from like July to December. That's all it was. It was like I got to do my roster. I got to research. And I got to the point where if I knew how many in-season moves, pickups, drops, trades, whatever it was, that if I met a threshold, I know that I would finish in the top 3 because I just had this whole like history of if I'm good in season management in quotes, right? That I'm participating, I'm keeping up, but I'm also trying to stay ahead. And if I'm active, then it should yield some decent results, and it always did. But I only won a few times. So the story Ryan's talking about, I worked for a company, and part of the perks of the company, we would receive gift cards for services by being an employee there. And I worked there for about 8.5 years, and I never used them. Okay, so we got one a month.
Do they expire?
No. So this was like 6 years into it, and it was the holidays. I thought, I'm just gonna go see if I can cash them out, like get them all.
Weren't you shit in the bed too? Like you had like a horrible team or something?
No, I was undefeated going into
that's right.
week 14. I was kicking everybody's ass.
All right, wow.
Well, at this point, nobody at my work would trade with me. They wouldn't make any deals because I'm
They
winning.
thought you were cheating, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
that's not fair.
I go to the HR accounting team and I'm like, hey, can I cash out all my gift cards? They're like, sure. Like cash out meaning can I just have all of them? I had 23 or 24. Like I had some insane. No, I probably had 40. Like it was just some insane number. Okay. At this point,
Ryan, what did you just do?
yeah, what was that? What was
Sorry,
this?
like
Ryan's doing
I was
something in the
hoping-
background.
I was hoping it was off screen, but there's. This is a
Did you
sidebar.
just throw a
I
pen
just
at
threw
a
a
fly?
pen at the wall. Okay.
Okay.
Because on the other side of this wall in my bedroom, like this is not really an office. I've turned a bedroom into an office. Is a bathroom. So that bathroom has had a cricket in it for like literally a week and a half that starts chirping.
We're in the middle of a podcast.
Oh.
Ryan's having a problem with crickets in the other bedroom.
Yeah, my wife came in and I'm like under the table, like get the fuck out of here, go. Trying to and you're here, you fucking. I just see like this over the side.
I just realized it's like a gun too. Like, whoosh.
Oh my gosh! For you people
Okay,
who are
so-
just listening to audio, please go watch the videos.
Oh, it's great.
YouTube
okay, so-
slightly after you guys.
So I have all these gift cards, and so I was like, you know what? If you guys are gonna act this way, I'm gonna fight fire with better fire. I don't even know.
That's a
So
great idea.
I went to a guy and I said, hey, what do you think? Let's make this trade. He's like, come on, man, you're winning. That's BS. And I'm like, would 4 gift cards change your mind? And he's like, absolutely, it would change my fucking mind. So I was like, bam. So I was like, you
They're
can't
like
tell anybody.
$65 each.
Yeah.
Just
No
so everybody
way.
knows.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
'Cause
You had
so
40 of them.
They're services, so there really wasn't a dollar value to it. But yes, that was like the street value of it. So I was like, you can't tell anybody because this is our secret. So I just started going to people and trying to do that. So then people caught on quick. So fast forward, I end up losing in the championship game. I lost 2 games. I was so pissed. So I end up losing. However, my gift card story continues because as I'm trying to bribe other players in my league, they're saying no. People around the office are like, wait, how many of these do you have? And I'm like, I got a ton, like 6 years. And like, can I buy some? And I'm like, fuck yes, you can buy some. So I'm literally selling gift cards back to employees who get them for free. I made like $2,000.
No way.
Yeah, selling my gift cards.
And they
back
bought
to,
them at face value.
No, I sold them for like $35 or some $40.
Okay, and they were, what did you say, like 60 some bucks? So
Yeah.
Still though, whew, what
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
Wow.
was winning.
Oh yeah. So that finally, after that happened, our CFO found out, and he was like, "I can't believe you were selling people your gift cards." I'm like, "Don't
Fuck
hate
yes,
the
I
player.
was.
Yeah. Don't hate the player. Hate the
And
game."
again, these were gift cards are like for like services, right? Not to like Costco or not Costco. That's a bad example, but
Yeah.
like Target or Best Buy or dinner. Okay.
Yeah, it was for a service.
Okay.
I mean, it was for a massage. Well, let's just call it what it is. They were 1 hour massages. So I paid for family Christmas, and it was a great Christmas. Like kids got fucking bikes, and I think they got iPod. Like I don't know what it was, but like everybody, Santa came hardcore that year.
Thank you,
It was
Santa.
great. Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, Santa. So,
So-
anyways, fantasy
okay.
football, I love it. I'm in.
So I'm a round this out with telling everybody a secret that I've never told anybody, because everybody was like, "How in the hell are you winning every single time?" I was literally like, "I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you. I got my own thing. I'm not gonna tell you."
I
'Cause I
need
never
your
wanted-
thing because I need
we need like
support.
some music for this. Like this
I
is a
never-
moment. Like turn the lights down.
I legitimately
Drum roll.
mood lighting. Thank you for calling in. This is WKYOT, the Coyote Jazz Channel. Today we're going to tell you how I won every single time. So again, I am not a person.
Nice reaction. Love it.
I'm not a person that actually. Let me turn the light back. I'm not a person that knows a lot about each of the players. And if anybody has anything to do with fantasy football, you know you can get lost in educating yourself on the people and who to pick first and everything else. And I knew that there is no way that I can bring myself up to the caliber of the other people that I was playing against.
You got to look 3 weeks ahead.
That's right.
Like, I'm just talking about drafting. Like, that was my big piece, is like, I don't know who to start with. I knew that I
Same.
could figure out week to week, because it's like, okay, I got enough time and it's limited, right? There's only so many people you could go and change out, only so many people you could choose to play, sit on your bench and do that. I knew I could figure that stuff out. But where to jump off, if you pick every shitty person because you didn't understand how it went, like, you would be completely lost, like you're stuck, you know, where it is. But if you knew to play the long game at the beginning and what the right long game was, then it would work out. So everybody like Googles stuff, you know? So I would always just start Googling stuff in some weird, wacky manner that I'm like, okay, I just want to say, what's somebody else's fantasy league? And you're like, oh, okay, so you just copied somebody. No shit. Like, everybody, like, I noticed some people were following this, and it would be whatever these first three things that would show up on Google. So I would Google search in a different manner to try to get some oddball thing, you know, and then somebody would always talk about, yeah, last year I won. I would just pick one. And then I would pull it up, and then now I have something to go off of. He's like, you're going to definitely pick, you know, a receiver in the first three, and then you're going to go quarterback. So that was the first thing. It told me what order to pick each person, which you can find that anywhere.
Okay.
But then these guys would always go, and it was a different person each year that would say, okay, here's exactly who I'm going to play. Here's exactly who I'm going to pick. And I would pick it by what draft pick I was to start, because we were always doing the snake draft. So everything else fell in line with what everybody else was doing. So I always pick somebody else's thing. But it was easy for me. I don't know why. Okay, this running back already took it. And you could say, okay, well, who'd you pick second and third? Like, I would just keep moving up the list and shuffling people around really fast. And I don't know why my brain could figure it out, you know, super easy, and always tended to happen to pick the right people at the end, because you're already shuffled out and you're like picking the third or fourth by the time you get to like your 8th round draft pick, right? It's funky. But like, I legitimately copied somebody online.
That's awesome. Is it too late for me
showed
to
up.
do that? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, no. Either way, I'll just send my team to Andy, and he'll just manage it for me. Andy, if I win, you'll get 25%.
Sounds good. I mean,
well, it's $100 a person.
Wait, does he have
10
to
people.
run
So I think the winner
25%
gets
of the
700.
5K?
The other, what's
No.
that?
fuck
Does
no.
he have to run 25% of the 5K if you lose?
Nope, I'll run the full thing, just for you, buddy.
See, now, we'll end this with one other thing that I think everybody should consider for their next couple of years if you're ever in a fantasy league and you want to announce it. If you start to get into a certain point where you've shit the bed so hardcore, it like you want to disown yourself from the game, right? And everybody says, please don't do that because you screw up the other people that are playing, right? So one of the things that we kind of always hinted at implementing was a horrible, if you ever ended up dead last, like purposely, like you get through a certain point of the season, you're like trying to play the worst people that you can possibly play to get the worst score, and everybody else down there is playing that, which would always make like the bottom 3 people essentially give up their good people. So everybody at the top had a unique chance to try to go in and grab them as well, to try to get rid of some good rather than just one person, locking it out. But it also makes it fun for those people that are like, oh, well, I 8
so
games,
bad. There's no way I can get back. Yeah.
Yeah. So we always kind of wanted to do that, but we never got around to it.
So you had a top bracket for the winners, and you're saying basically you also had a bottom bracket for the losers.
But not just bottom bracket. It was literally your overall yearly lowest score. You would basically get your money back, or it was like time and a half.
Oh, okay. So if you got the least amount of points overall for the whole group, you would also get. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's easier said than done. Like when you really think about it, it's like, oh yeah, well, that's easy.
You have 3 people throwing it.
yeah. There's so many other people, potentially falling in there. You have the middle of the pack that think they might be able to jump ahead, and then the very bottom ones that'll really try to go for it.
Yeah, sure. That's cool.
All right, everybody.
Cool.
This is a little bit of a longer podcast. I think this was a good one. What do you, Andy? What's your take on this one? You think this was a good one?
Yeah.
Oh, with the sounds, he had it ready for the podcast.
I was ready.
Andy coming in clutch, on point.
So Andy liked it. Ryan, what's your thought? I thought this one went really, really smooth. Good transitions between the topics.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed it. Again, though, we are also always looking to improve. Please comment. What is it? Ryan at slightlyaverageguys.com. Email him. Text us if you know us, right? We always want to improve. Send us topics. And on that note, too, I have a potential interviewee for a podcast in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Looking forward to that. So appreciate everybody listening. If you haven't subscribed yet to one of your podcast channels, please do. Slightly Average Guys on almost every single thing. Still waiting on the iHeartRadio people to approve it. So please.
iHeartRadio.
But it is everywhere else. And we are posting the videos to YouTube every Thursday night. So we appreciate it. Look us up, slightlyaverageguys.com. We'll take you to the podcasting links as well. Appreciate it, guys. See you next week.